Hello out there, this is Joe Gojore, your wheelchair friend. I'm grateful to be here to narrate my story to whoever might be listening. After a few of the past episodes that were short, I may not have covered all the people that took part in my recovery or in my rehabilitation. It has been quite a journey, not very, very long though, but a space of just about 1.5 years since my amputation is fairly long to get used to doing without one of your limbs that you were born with. It's not easy. So to begin with, it starts with the family. You know, the core family itself was very helpful. It was supportive for me to start regaining my mobility one way or the other, because without mobility, life is difficult. You cannot do much. You can be left in a place and only wait for someone else to come and push you from there or to take you to the next place that you need to be. So they were very, very supportive, led of course by my wife, Lucky. She proved herself to be more than a fair share of support for me, something that could only be revealed by this situation. So you begin to see that there are certain things that we can do for each other as human beings, as family and all that, which can only be revealed by a catastrophe or a predicament such as what I faced. So she and the children are very, very supportive. I also want to give support, credit to her own sister, my guru, as we say in my language, meaning the elder sister to my wife. She's far away, but she was very supportive. When I got into the predicament, she came up with contributions financially. First, when I was at the initial hospital where the mess up might have happened, the bill came through and she just snapped and settled it. Then, of course, from there I went to the larger hospital where the actual amputation was done. My wife was still there, my son was there, my nephew was there as well. That is my guru's son. Then of course my brother came from South Africa. He also did quite a bit of his own input. Calls were coming from my family in Zim in South Africa, and even overseas. People were calling and expressing their sorrow and support for what had happened. Then coming back home here, I also came across my what we can call my son. Is almost my age, slightly younger than me, but by relations I call him my son because he's related through my wife's family as a son there. So automatically he swings into that relationship. I become a father. He was also very, very supportive. He came up with not just verbal, but sometimes even practical help for me to get used to not having my limp. You'd also provide some herbs, provide some other stories of people who have faced what I've faced. Remember, he came through with another video of someone without a leg who is able to load his bakkie standing on one leg with a shovel and so forth. Something that I would not even dream of. But back in the house now, I was able to use the walker to walk around. A few falls now and then, I fell from the walker, trying to get onto the toilet chamber, trying to get on the bed, trying to get a shower. So for the first 3 months or so, I was not able to do anything on my own. And I could not walk or hop or use the walker without someone nearby to make sure if I have to get support in case I'm falling off or falling down. So all in all, about 3 or 4 falls actually took place. But ever since then, I'm talking about within 3 to 4 months of my amputation. Ever since then, there's not been any incident of that nature. I now can be left alone in the home. I can even do a cup of coffee on my own. I can boil water and can go and have a shower, get into the gents and get on the bed if I wanna, get dressed and change clothes, so forth and so on. Which is quite a milestone in terms of how I was not able to do these things immediately after the amputation. Then of course you don't forget even other friends in the community who came through. It's not easy to mention all of them by name, but there were quite a few who came over. Some promised to come, some I realized they want to come, but they cannot probably face to see that I do not have a leg. Which is quite funny sometimes, because I used to give an example of how people can brave to see a dead person in a coffin, but they cannot brave to see someone who has lost a leg or lost anything, yet they can actually talk to the person. They know that he's alive. Then they say, no, I cannot go there to see him without a leg. I think that kind of action is even worsening the situation, because one feels like a reject now because of the predicament. But that never really got too much to my head to try to assess what they are thinking about. But nevertheless, I really want to appreciate our friends in the community here who have practically come over to see how I was faring in the whole process. So this episode really is to give thanks to all the people that have come through, that have given me support. I know there's a lot of prayers that have gone through just to ensure that the Almighty can also intervene in His own way. And definitely that is also working. I do not want to forget the corporate world. We have contributed here and there. They may not have reached the goal that we needed to reach to get the 200,000 rands prosthetic leg. It is quite a tall order to get that money. And there's hardly in this community or in this environment one person who may come up with that kind of money to help. I mean, all of it at once is not easy. But I must actually admit that some people have coughed much more than one would even imagine. Because if you see someone releasing 10,000 pula to give you to help yourself in any way, So even though it's way below what is expected, it's a lot in terms of just that contribution. That must be appreciated. So I keep on repeating that this episode really is about giving thanks to everybody and everyone who has been able to come through.
I'll introduce myself once again. I'm Lucky Gojore, wife to Joseph Gojore, as I'm here to thank each and everyone, starting with the cameraman, the people behind the scenes, which people never appreciate or see. You just see what the work has been done. I thank Sally and Chris Jr., CJ, for having the time to come and take the videos, to be able to listen to our story without any payment which they've asked from us. All is their time and their resources. We should not take it for granted. Each and everything which God gives us, we have to appreciate. We would have not done this or thought about it if they did not come and said we need to cover this. And when they did it, also it was a healing session for us, because we'd never spoken about it. Nobody had ever asked the questions which everyone dreads to ask. People dread to ask questions: how do you feel, what happened? Only maybe 1 or 2 or 3 people who are not very close to you, close to you people are the ones who can ask the family, maybe relations. But for the young couple like them to be able to ask and want to understand, and in that form as well, they were giving us a healing. We were being healed. The counseling which we lacked to have when he was amputated or to be amputated, nobody ever had. Even with medical side, nobody ever thought we needed that. But we thank God for that. And at the same time, I thank also my sister, who has been a shoulder for me to lean on. I thank also, I've got another sister who is not by blood, but who contributed in continuously calling me. It doesn't matter what time it was, when he was going through the hard time. I call her Sister H. She was with me during the times when I needed that moral support, someone to talk to. I thank God for that. And also here at home, my kids also, we were healing one another. And I also thank each and everyone, relations and those who just had and felt they could do something. They just came, contributed, money for upkeep. I appreciate. It's not easy for someone who does not know you in these times, when after people have come out from COVID, to be able to get money when all of us were sitting down, no one was moving, no jobs, but they found in whatever monies they had, which is kept for their families for the future, which we all did not know. But they decided, no, let me take out the money, just give this family some moral support, financially and spiritually. I appreciate all that. And without God and us having prayers and giving us that moral support, all these people would not have come. I'm amazed, as I was saying, as my husband has mentioned as well. I'm not saying our people did not do much, but I'm amazed by the Indian community. I was touched in such a way that these are people, some of them have never met. He just sends, he asks you for a bank account number, and honestly, without hesitation, 2-3 days, you find somebody's put money. And I'm not talking about 200 pula, I'm talking something like 5,000. Somebody can just put that without knowing you. What touched him is only God, nothing else. So it has taught us that even us as a family, I do not have to help somebody because it's a relation, but I have to help anyone because God works in mysterious ways. Those people were touched definitely by God. For them, they fear God. We can ask how they prosper. They do prosper because they understand, they share. That love of giving, it's a lot. Because God himself is love. So for them to be able to remove whatever they have and say, let me give this one. They don't have to give us money. We don't owe them anything. But they've given us money because they feel we need something. I think also, like I said, my friends who have come, and those who did not come, I understand it's not an easy thing to come. Some do not know how they're going to talk to us. They don't know how to start. They feel maybe we are still in shock, but we are not. We thank God that with this incident, with everything which happens in our lives, there's always a purpose for it. And I'm not saying he was taken off this leg, there must be a purpose, no, or for a financial gain, no. But what I'm saying is to make us stronger, to be able to be better people, to understand how the people who are physically challenged feel. How do they feel? How do they? How do community take them? Do they shut them away, or do they stay behind closed doors? They've got no one to take them anyway. Like my husband is now 2 years. It could be 3 any time if we don't get a leg. It's not easy for him to be around the house. Somebody who's been up and about, somebody who's working, but you are always indoors, you are around, you are not yet comfortable to be able to meet the community. And sometimes it's self-confidence to say, when I get there, how would people look at me? You find some people be looking at you in a different way. Self-pity is the last thing which one wants. You want to be treated normally like everyone. But I thank God that other side, we know the other side and how people feel. And whenever we go to the medical clinics, the clinics where we go, we meet with other people. You find you've got a community of your own, and I feel I start identifying people who are indoors somewhere, lonely and does not know what to do. Somebody left, maybe a spouse left, or relatives disappear, which is true. Relatives disappear when things like this happen. Nobody wants to be found there to support, but we thank God. I think as a family we have discussed that it won't only end with us. We are going to also look for them, those who are also physically challenged, those who have had amputation, and see how we can also help the way the world has also helped us. Thank you. I appreciate.
Well, I'm glad to have been part of contingency plans that we were doing to help him, and I've seen a lot of psychological improvement in him. When I first started with him, I could see there was something that was lacking in the sense that it's not something that one gets overnight, and we spent a lot of time. We did a lot of things, and we spoke about a lot of things, and within that process I saw a big change in him as he accepted the new situation that he's in, and I'm happy that he's become more independent, and we still look forward that he can walk out of the wheelchair and be more active, and so that when the prosthesis is done, then it makes his life back to how it were. And I'm so glad that everybody who has contributed have continued to support him, and at the end of the day, we have also been cancelled. We may think we have been cancelling him, but when you're in this situation, it works both ways. When you start appreciating what you have, or what you will miss, or what somebody else is missing, and I think it has changed my life also in the perspective, the way I see life as a whole.
We may, like I said, I may fail to mention a list of all the names, because it takes not just space, but it also takes the possible exclusion of others, which is not a very fair game. There are so many people that may feel unthanked, yet they are doing a lot more than just giving money. We can just take, for example, our friend Ruth Mtlanga, very, very cooperative, very available. It's not easy. She did much more. Even for my Christmas time, I was entertained by her. She provided food, various types of food. And not just me, but my family and other visitors came and enjoyed. But most outstandingly, my mom. My mom was deeply touched by this incident, because she's the one who carried me 9 months in her womb. And to see that now at the age of over 60, I lose a leg, for her it was deeply touching, such that she mopped all the little bit of cash that she had without necessarily telling how much it was. But it was great. Her own constant checking of me made me to see what a mother really is. It's not a joke to be a mother, and then to face a situation where your child is facing an insurmountable or seemingly insurmountable situation. She will always be on my heart for revealing exactly what she is and who she is. So this is my part for my dear mother. Thank you so much, Mama. Ndinokutenda zvisina muenzaniso. Ndinokutenda norudo rwenyu. Ndinokutenda iye vamurozvi. Thank you so much.